Hey guys, how's it going? It's great to hang out with you guys here today. We are going to have an awesome live stream with you guys. I can see you in the chat right here. Burnseed of the Rockies. We've been hanging out, talking a little bit. John Kremer, RSVP Palmer, Art by Gallon, Jason, living well, kids get a break, relaxing, sleep station. Good to see you, man. Good to see all you guys. Katie, we are going to have a great conversation. This really is. We're just, me and the other people you're going to meet here in a second. We're just hanging out, talking like this is going to be good. This is something that a lot of us have some experience with, but we're also looking forward to learning from each other and learning from you guys in the chat. So the first thing before we get started, a couple things. One, we want to make this interactive with you guys. So I can see you're already commenting, and I see all you guys, tips and tricks, and the Storm Chaser, and Gotwood, and Tiny Trekking, and Owen. Hey, Owen, man, good to see you. Owen's going to be in my video on tomorrow, so you guys want to check that out. But I want you guys to ask questions and share your own insights. We want to feature them here. There's a lady in the chat named Heidi. Her channel is Scandinavian Today. And if you see her in there, say hi. She's going to be taking your questions and feeding them to us so that we can do our best to answer them, answer your questions, as well as take your insights and the things that you're sharing. So do that in the chat. Also, if this is your first time here, what we're doing, it's me and 5 other full-time YouTube creators, and we're just going to hang out with you guys for an hour here tonight to talk about some of the questions, the issues, the roadblocks that we're bumping into, and help each other out publicly live in front of you guys in ways that hopefully help you guys develop your own YouTube channel and your own audiences and businesses that surround all those things and everything, so that you can avoid some of these mistakes as well as capitalize on some of the advice that we're going to share. There's an audio version of this. It gets turned into a podcast. And so if you're into the podcast thing, down in the description below, you'll find links where you can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher. And I love the podcast because there's other stuff that we're publishing there besides just these. Like I did a couple dedicated interviews with Chad and Melissa, and that you know from the show, as well as Antonio and some other people. And I love that we can dig deep. Like rather than a YouTube video or just take a few minutes to talk about something, podcast we take like a half hour and dig into something. So it's awesome. You go subscribe to that and check that out. And thanks to my friends at techsignal.com. If you want to get a text message notification whenever I go live, which I just got on my phone, you can text the word VC Live to the phone number 43506. That's text VC Live to 43506. And I will send you a text message when we go live, just so you can come and hang out with us as soon as we go live. When we do these spontaneously or every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. It'd be great to have you join us there. So we're going to get into all your questions, all your feedback about this topic. Scott is in the hot seat. You'll meet him in a second. But before we jump into that, a huge thanks to this episode's sponsor. Guys, it's rumble.com. You've heard me talk about them before because they're an awesome way that you can increase the exposure for your videos and get more distribution, as well as a great way for you to make more money off of your videos by increasing your distribution and getting more, having your video displayed on like all these big networks, Yahoo, MSN, Reuters, Xbox Live, all these big major platforms that people are watching videos on. But one thing you might not know about rumble.com is that they also give you access to YouTube's Content ID system, which is really awesome. So maybe you know how Content ID works because you took someone else's video, didn't belong to you, but you used it in one of your videos anyway. You uploaded it to YouTube, and then you got a Content ID strike. Facepalm. and so now that person who owns that content, that video clip that you use, is getting some revenue off of your video. They are making money off of your video because you use part of their stuff. So that's kind of annoying when that happens to us, but there's a way you can also submit your own videos to Content ID so that you can make money when other people take your content and either re-upload it or copy it without being a part of a YouTube network. Now, if you're part of a YouTube network, they're already managing your content in your videos and Content ID for you. But let me take you to my desktop here and show you how it works with Rumble. Hopefully this works. This is an overview of their licensing options right here. So we've talked about Rumble Player, which is when you just upload your video directly to rumble.com right here. And then you can take advantage of higher ad impressions on your videos when you embed them into your own website from here, or if you just want exposure through rumble.com's own website. So America's Funniest Home Videos, places like that, they do that just because they're going to get a really high profit share and make a lot more money on their videos. This is one we also talked about, which is video management excluding YouTube. So they will distribute your videos to a lot of other platforms where you can get a lot of great exposure. You know, it's a lot of viral video sites, and they'll look at your video, they'll see where the best placement will be, and then they will give you lots of exposure to Reuters, a lot of news outlets, Xbox Live, Yahoo, MSN, a lot of different places. This option is the one I want to talk about here with you guys today, because this is the option that lets you, if you're not part of a YouTube network, it lets you take advantage of having your videos inside of YouTube's Content ID system, so that when you upload a video to YouTube or to Rumble right here, and you click into your video, give it your title, description, click upload, then that's your next screen where you're going to get these licensing options. What they're going to do is they're going to take your video. If you select the video management part, and they are going to manage your video in YouTube's Content ID system, which means that your video will be submitted to Content ID through Rumble, and whenever someone steals part or all of one of your videos and re-uploads it to YouTube, it's going to get flagged, and it's going to be a Content ID match, and now you are going to collect the revenue on YouTube, the AdSense revenue on that video, to the tune of 80 or 90%, right here, 90%. So video management, your profit share on YouTube is going to be 90%. So you get like the vast majority of whatever other people's usage of your content comes out to on YouTube. So it's a great way to protect your content. It's a great way to make money off of it if other people are using it. Now, the other thing that will happen is once you submit it through video management, they will upload it to one of Rumble's YouTube channels also, which could potentially give it a lot more views and exposure. You know, they've got a good track record here of getting videos with millions and millions of views, and so they could potentially get your video into millions of views also, which, again, you're going to get 90% of that profit share on YouTube with this managed license. If you only want to take advantage of Content ID though, and you do not want your video to also go up on one of their Rumble video channels, then you can just contact them and say, hey, I want this to be a part. I uploaded it, and I only want it to be a part of YouTube's Content ID. I want you guys to manage this video asset for me and bring me 90% of the revenue that my videos are earning on other people's channels if they use it or re-upload my videos. But I don't want my video to be public on your channel. I only want it to be public on my channel. So you just email them, and they'll be happy to take care of you and figure that out for you too. So I really recommend you guys check this out if you want to protect your content on YouTube and make extra money from it. If people are stealing it or reusing it, there's a link in the description below that you can go to check this out. That'll take you directly to the registration page, or when you go to rumble.com to sign up, just use the refer video creators, one word, all lowercase, so we can see that you signed up through this. It'd be great, and you guys can go check it out. All right, great. So go check them out. Link in the description below, rumble.com. Use the refer video creators and check them out. We're going to have a great discussion here today, guys. I'm really excited about this. Here are our friends that you get to know every week. Links to all their channels are in the description of this video, of this live stream here. Let's go through quickly, introduce ourselves to the people who might be new. I see a lot of people chatting. It's good to see you guys. Derek, tell us about your channel real quick.
My channel is about cocktails, and every day we put out a video either about making a cocktail, reviewing a spirit, blind tastings to try and figure out what are the best brands to buy, everything you'd ever need to know. It's called Common Cocktails. You can check it out. It's on this thing called YouTube.
This thing right here that you guys are on right now, unless you're watching this on Facebook, because we are live streaming their video creators Facebook page also. But
No.
Scott, what's your channel about?
Yeah, my channel is called Nerd Sync, and we talk about superheroes and comic books and use them to teach about real world science, history, philosophy, art, all that good stuff.
And if Flash is the fastest, or if he can beat someone who goes.
Yes,
That was
look,
our conversation before we went live.
he's the fastest man alive. Let's just put it behind
Except
us.
for Superman, right?
No, he beats
No.
Oh, he
Superman.
beat Superman. Okay, good.
Yeah,
You weren't listening, Tim. We
No, I
just
wasn't. I was setting up the live
I
stream.
poured
I
my
was
heart
working.
out. You were not.
we were having important debates before the live stream
Very
started about
important.
the Flash. Man.
Antonio, what's your channel about?
Sure. I teach guys about style using military history and science to make it relevant to just the average guy so that he can go to my channel. He can figure out the basic foundations of looking better and then use it to his advantage. That's it.
Sweet. And Chad?
My name is Chad. I, along with my wife, who normally sits here, Melissa, we run a channel called Clean My Space, which is also incidentally on YouTube. We are an entertaining and informative cleaning channel where we make videos about cleaning all sorts of different things in your life and how to lead a cleaner life.
Sweet. And Shannon?
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm the creator behind Bounce Patrol, which is a show for kids. We do original songs, nursery rhymes, and we aim to get kids up and bouncing.
Up and bouncing. I feel like I'm going to do that right now. Mostly just because I'm super tired from the election. But I'm a little
Which
delirious
is today's
from
topic.
lack of
No,
sleep.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, our topic tonight is a good one. We're talking about how to best promote like merchandise and sales and sponsors and Patreons and all that kind of stuff to your YouTube audience. So Scott, you're in the hot seat. Why don't you tell us how we can help you?
Yeah, so basically for the longest time I've been doing YouTube. We've just been doing YouTube stuff. And I always figured, one day we'll do some merchandise. One day we'll do some more Patreon. We'll eventually have a website or a newsletter, all that stuff. And then what ended up happening over the past few months is we kind of just did all of those all at once. It was not intentional. It just kind of happened. Like the website was just somebody who said, hey, I want to help build your website. So we started going that route. The merchandise was people reaching out saying, we want to make you some merch. So it was all just complete coincidental stuff all fitting together. And then I am struggling with when and how exactly to promote each individual thing. Like when should I pitch for people to sign up to the newsletter versus the website? Or when should I get people to go over to our Patreon versus buying merch? And is there some sort of best practice for that sort of stuff? If that makes sense.
Yeah. So is your question mostly revolving around how to get people over to those platforms, or is it how do you sell them on the idea of going over there, or is it like how do you get them to buy, or all of that?
For me, it's more so like when should I pitch each thing? Like, when should I tell someone to go over to Patreon versus when should I tell them to go visit our website? Because I just don't know.
And you do one video a week? Does that sound no?
One to two. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So
Do you know which one is the most important to you? Like if you had to rank those in terms of Patreon, website, newsletter, which one is the one that you most want to promote versus the one that's kind of like that gets less attention?
So for right now, the website we're still working on, that hasn't launched yet, but that will launch probably sometime next year. So that's kind of off the table. But Patreon, I think is super important to me currently. We don't have a ton of merchandise, so we probably don't need to focus too heavily on that. And then the newsletter would probably be the other one to just to make sure that, we get we can reach people off of YouTube and
So I know Antonio is going to tell you how to do this. So I'm going to tell you how I would react, because this is why I'm going to do this. Because if I tell you and I'm wrong, I learn. If I tell you and I'm right, everybody's going to think I'm a genius.
Well played, Derek.
All right.
Well
So
played.
what I've learned over the time is I originally started out in a similar situation where I've got Awesome Drinks, which is my store. Then and they sell cocktail gear. So it's completely relevant to everything I do. I have Patreon. I have my newsletter, all the different social media follows you can have people do. I dropped all the social media follows, throw them in my title, and I just call it good. I figure I don't get a lot of value. My next high ranking thing that I usually prioritize is my Patreon for my videos, because from my store, I also advertise in Google. I advertise through multiple different means. I retarget through Facebook, so I have different ways of capturing an audience. It's not just merchandise. So it's stuff that fans of cocktails would like. So I can hit a larger audience that way. So I hit that in multiple different ways, and I sneak it into videos, and I respond when somebody says, where do I get that glass? That's when I hit them, right? Because I know I can get that person. But my Patreon is residual. So it's like if I capture somebody for $10 a month, then, I have them for a long duration of time. If they buy something on the store, the few things that I have to deal with is shipping, actually doing it, getting it there, doing all the physical labor stuff. So, and there's margin, right? The Patreon is like pretty high, not 100%, but it's close to 100% margin. So I like to go with the highest margin, easiest to acquire, that will be around for the long term. And then every now and then I used to put everything in at once and be like, oh, hit this, go here, do this, do that. And I think it just confuses everybody. So I do a video every day. So I try and take one, each day I might mention something, but I don't hammer anything. I don't try and just drill people. I try and do it like once a week, kind of hardcore, and then that's it.
So you're basically saying you prioritize based on, like, you've kind of figured out what the lifetime customer value is, and you just kind of figured for you it's on Patreon, and so that's why you're promoting.
Yeah, well, because for Patreon, if I can get somebody on Patreon, they're giving me money for the content that they're already watching, right? If for the store kind of sells itself, like somebody goes, I really want that tiki mug, I don't really have to do anything else, right? They know where I am. Everybody knows where they could find me. I have links everywhere. So I feel like they're going to naturally figure out or ask, where do I get that? And I can hit them. That's an easier, quote unquote, easier sell than trying to get them to sign up for, X amount of money a month. But the X amount of money a month is nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm done.
Thank you.
I think the reason that we're talking about the prioritizing of them is because people can only take one action at a time. So if you tell them multiple things, and in one video you tell them multiple things to do, well, they're not going to go do all of them anyway. You'll be lucky if you convince them to do one, I would think. So you kind of have to pick one and stick with it. And then if they're going to be in a rotation, because you want to mention, more than one thing consistently, then, prioritizing those is going to be really important, and come down to, as Tim said, the lifetime value of that person, in terms of how you can deliver the value to them and how they can deliver value back to you.
Yeah. I think something that I had heard from a couple other people in the past, because this has been something that I'm curious about. They were telling me to pitch one of them, depending on which audience I'm reaching that in that particular video, right? So we do occasionally like a live stream where, it's more of a community-based thing. It's not like something I'm trying to, throw out there to get more subscribers, to get more views. It's more just like, a video that's kind of honing our community. And that's something that maybe, that's the audience that could be more interested in one type of a thing than another type of a thing. So that's kind of also what I've been trying to take into consideration.
Now, do you do any type of electronic, like ebook downloads or anything like that?
I don't. We're working on something currently. We're trying to make a book, but we're figuring that out.
For those, I try to do those once or twice a month, and then just remind people. Or in my case, since I'm making ebooks with cocktails in them, if I have a slot open, I will make a cocktail from the ebook that they might have to pay for, or from the free ebook that's adjacent to it on the page, and say, oh, here's a recipe I did. I also took my 15 cocktail ebook, and I've already recorded all 15 cocktails, but I haven't put any of them out. So that's kind of like later on, I'm waiting for the ebook sales to kind of decline, and then I can hit them with a little reminder. But I don't want to bombard them, because it's like, I know they have to hear it multiple times before people go, oh, that just happened. But it still seems like I can hit the margins on Patreon are a little bit, lifetime wise, a little bit better.
For the links that you use, do you ever use any kind of tracking, like you track like Bitly links or whatnot, so that you know that a specific video where you said a specific thing or you had a specific call out, you can kind of see the traction that you got from certain call outs versus other call outs?
You know, I used to do that. I don't know why I stopped doing it, but I feel like I got to get back on that for sure.
Which might help you inform you, to see, and also if you check your analytics, like we were speaking about last week, to see the amount of subscribers versus non-subscribers who are watching your video. I got a rude awakening not too long ago where about 78% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribers. So perhaps using the videos for more of a platform, which is a lower hanging fruit or less of an investment for them. So maybe it's the newsletter sign up for like the videos. And then you were saying for the live streams or the Q&As that you do, where maybe that's more of your passionate fan base or, people who are more familiar with you, maybe using that to be the opportunity to actually go after Patreon or, something which is, money being exchanged or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So I don't blindly just promote everything. I don't think you do either. I have like different videos have different goals to them, which lends itself to different promotions that I'll be doing. So if it's a sponsored video, my main call to action at the end is going to be to promote the sponsor, to promote the link. If it's just like a normal video, my main thing is to get them onto my email list by giving them my free ebook called The Secret to Building Your YouTube Audience. And that works well because one thing you gotta be careful about with sending people away from YouTube is that it ends the viewing session, which is bad for SEO, right? So YouTube's goal is to keep people watching as many videos for as long as possible, engaging with as many ads as possible. And if your video ends that viewing session, they don't like that and they will rank, your video will perform more poorly. So, but I feel okay sending them away once to get onto my email list. And after that, they never have to leave YouTube again once they're on that. If it's a video where I'm intentionally trying to sell something, like my 30 Days to a Better YouTube channel ebook, for example, then I'll make that my main call to action. We'll send people straight to sign up and purchase that. And I don't really care as much if that video ranks long term or anything, because the main goal of that is just to get it out to my subscribers and give a pitch for that product. Patreon, I've set up some perks that intentionally integrate themselves into my content, more so on the podcast side than on the YouTube side, but so that there's like a natural integration of Patreon into my content. So it's less of like a pitch and more of like the Patreon community helps inform my content in the first place. So it's like a natural thing rather than so that when people go and sign up for Patreon, it's less about, hey, I'm giving Tim money, and it's more about, I can see how Patreon is like a community of people that's actively engaged in this content, and I want to be in that community. So it's more about Patreon for me is more about community development than anything else. So short story long for you, whichever I promote is kind of depends on the goal of the video and the content itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, I've got a very basic question, but do you have a website? I type in NerdSync and I can't find a website.
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, it's still a work in progress. We're hoping it'll launch early next year.
Okay. It just some place, even if it was just a landing page where I could see all of it. I mean, right now I can go to YouTube and you're about, and I can see you've got a podcast. I can see all these other Facebook page, you're on SoundCloud, all these different platforms, but there's not one place where I can see, all your, except they're on YouTube. And that would be really big, just in terms of what we're talking about with building up an email list, gathering product, and I've heard, I want to just stress, I think Shannon was really, clear about prioritizing, what is going to be the thing that you want to promote. For me, it's always about how easy is it to promote and what's the value, AKA, is it going to make me money? Is it something that has to get out here soon? So I have a conference that launches in February called StyleCon. Well, I've got 89 days or whatever it is till that launches. So that is quickly becoming a priority. Whereas 6 months ago, it was not. So that one is now, getting moved up. I'm talking about it more, mentioning, because we need to get more sales for that. But one thing I do you have an accountant or somebody that goes through your numbers and identifies actually where you're making money from?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can see, to me, that's always a great indicator. Look at your winners and then focus in and repeat those. We use a lot of affiliates, and I had certain affiliates that were maybe making me, $100 a month. And then I had other affiliates making me $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And I was spending the same amount of time on them, and it became very obvious. No, you focus in on these and you double that 2,000 to 3,000, because even if I quadrupled that 100 or 200, I'm nowhere near where the same amount of time and effort. So you kind of learn that like some things are winners, some are duds, and then you keep kind of repeating those winners again and again.
Yeah, and from my perspective, in that same kind of vein, is I put out an ebook for $15. That's 15 cocktail recipes. I make a couple $100. I put out a free ebook where you can put your own price in, and I made 3 times as much money. So now looking at it, going, well, if
How
I'm
much
going
were you charging for the other thing?
one was $14.95 or whatever. You and me came up with the price for it at one point in time, right? So the other one is free. $0, and you just put the number in, and people put in 10, 15, some put in 2, a lot of people put in 3, and it sells more. I make more money on a free book than I do on the pay for book, and sometimes people buy both. So it's
That's
like, do I put out?
I have a product like that too, but no one ever pays for it. Everyone
Really?
always just takes it for free. And there's a little gateway you got to go through. Then I get a little email notification that says $0, and it tells me the person's email address. So it's like I know who they were, and it doesn't bother me. But yeah,
Well, it does
no one buys
it
mine for
bothers me, but it shouldn't. Like it because I'm like, but dude, I did all this work, but I get it, right? Because I offered it for free, and what do I expect? But at the same time, looking at just the if I'm going to go and make 15 cocktails like from scratch, in the ones that I put in there for free or for my website, they're already in video form. I didn't even make custom ones. I just put them in there. So if I just do that again, it's just money comes in. If I go and put a lot more effort in to do the one that costs money, less money comes in. So I told the fans, if you want me to do this, it's obvious what you need to do. If you just keep buying this free book, I'll keep pumping out free books. I don't care.
So we got a good question from Kremer Films. Would you just put all these links in your end card? Is that what you guys do? Do you just like fill your end card with all these links and be like, go to Patreon here, buy this over here, then go download this over there, and then go sign up for this thing?
Tim, you're playing this. You're already saying it with like the devil's advocate.
I know. I'm setting you guys up for a home run. You're welcome.
See, I put all of that at the first 30 seconds of my video before I get anywhere into my content.
That was actually another question. There was from Sergeant X Roberts. When should I tell my viewers that I'm promoting my product in my video? So those kind of go together.
Well, so you put one link at the end. First off, the end card only gives you 4 objects. One which has to be a playlist, right? One should always be your subscribe button. 2, I always have it as my another list, like or the next viewer favorite video or what viewer suggested. Then I have that extra one, right? So sometimes it's Patreon, sometimes it's nothing. Other times it might be my ebook. I don't keep it the same. And then if I'm gonna talk about a product that I'm using, if I'm using a cool mug or something, I'm gonna pour it in the mug, and when it's cocktails down, I'm like, this is this cool mug. If you like them, you can go to awesomedrinks.com and pick one up. I do it when it's appropriate, right? Not right away.
Yeah, Chad, when do you guys do your promotions, whether for a sponsor or you guys have a rag, a cleaning rag or something, right?
We do. We have a cleaning cloth. We are just about to move into full production as far as our cleaning cloths are concerned. We're going to put specific content specifically for that together. So therefore it's additional content. So it'll be content revolving around, how to best use microfiber cloths, best practices for using them, how to care for them. And then the call to action will always be the same. So we never mix anything with the calls to actions for our videos. So if it's about going to our website, that is the call for that particular video. And if it's a Patreon or whatever it may be, that is also solo. And we also try not to make the mistake of like, follow me on Twitter and also go follow me on Instagram and follow me on Snapchat. And it just ends up becoming too much. So we just pick what the most effective one for, or like the most potent one for us that we're really pushing, and we just stick with that one. And you can use your description area for as much as you want. The people that go through there don't mind seeing lots of links, but cluttering it up in your video or in your end card or at the beginning of the video, that's a very, very important spot. That's usually the spot that sponsors want. They'll want a call out within the first 30 seconds of the video.
And there's a reason.
And there's very good reason why the largest companies in the world want you to show a logo and to say something within the first, sometimes even first 10 seconds of the video. So now
big companies who've done lots of market research, working out when the best time to get the call to action is, want it earlier and earlier in the video. So there's a lot of data behind that.
So we started using an early call out in every single one of our videos, but we only do YouTube. Not to take them away from somewhere, because this is something that Tim talks about quite a while, quite a bit, which is not shortening the view time, and get them to do something on the video, which will help the actual video. So liking it or subscribing to the channel or leaving a comment down below. We utilize that first kind of 30 seconds to, if there's going to be a call to action, it's only going to be something which is, kind of on the page, if you will.
So when you say your call out, is that basically your pitch, or what do you mean by your call out?
Whatever the call to action is,
okay.
Be it going somewhere to spend some money, or be it to deliver a sponsor message, or be it even just to like or subscribe a video. As soon as you start asking people to do too many things, they'll do.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you guys tend to ask earlier than later when you want someone to sign up for Patreon or sign up for an email list or check out your cleaning cloth or something like that?
That's correct. And we found the best, just using the example again of the likes and the subscribers. We used to put it we've always put it in a video. I mean, most people know to include, hey, mention subscribe, mention a like. And if you actually say that, you're more apt to get more likes. And we've always done very well as far as that like thing and the subscribe thing is concerned. And then as soon as we moved it to the first kind of 20 seconds of the video, we noticed an enormous, at least double or triple the amount of likes that we would normally get on a video, we started getting. So now we do that for basically every video. And it's a very important spot. You have someone's attention. They will stick around for the first 10 to 15 seconds. So just be careful what you actually use that call out space for.
Yeah.
Hey Chad, do you script, like, are you completely, I don't know how to say, scripted per se? Like when you do, like, I can't do that like within the first 20 seconds because I don't know if you've seen my personality, but I'm all over the place. And like, there's no way I'm going to remember to do that. Like, I'm just, whatever comes out of my mouth happens.
We used to script. We used to teleprompt, actually. Melissa got incredibly good at using a teleprompter, so it came across very, very natural. But we kind of lost a little bit of the element of what people like on YouTube, which is that just that natural kind of improv by the moment, saying something which ends up resonating so much more than no matter how long you wrote it. In the moment you kind of, whatever. So now what we do is we go through and we just make overviews for a video. So if it's 5 things to clean in your bathroom, we outline what the things are. I usually put a few point forms about like, yeah, we want to mention this, we want to mention that. And then we just let Melissa go at it, and she's a pro, so she just kind of does it off the top of her head for the most part.
This is interesting.
Oh, go
ahead, Shannon.
No, you go. That's fine.
When I do sponsored videos, I make it pretty clear very early in the video, probably the first 20 to 30 seconds, that this is a sponsored video by a brand. But people keep watching because I've already pitched in the first 10 to 15 seconds that this is what the video is about, and people are like, this sounds valuable to me, and they don't care if it's sponsored or not because it sounds valuable to them. And then I go on and do the thing. But then when I do my own pitch for like my own ebooks or Patreon or something, I've always done it at the end because my thought process was, and this is, maybe you guys can correct me for being wrong, is that, well, let me take some time to earn some trust, earn some credibility, kind of get people thinking about this. Let me help solve this problem for them a little bit. And then they're like, oh, thank you, this was really good. And then offer them like, here's this bigger, better, badder thing, that you could buy. And if you got like some value out of this video, like this thing is going to give you like 100 times the value than you just experienced. So
Do you have 100% retention on your videos?
I don't, but
How many people are watching at the end when you're talking about your pitch percentage-wise?
it's probably about 60% left. But the way I thought about that was, well, the 40% who left probably weren't going to buy the book because they didn't get the value from the video that in the first place, you know, so they weren't interested enough in the video. So they certainly weren't going to be interested enough in purchasing a book.
Yeah, dude, I think the same way. I make, if I'm going to give the users value or viewers value, I do all the value up front because I know that they're going to leave. And if those are like, this guy's awesome, like they're going to stick around.
Right, yeah.
And then they're like, this guy's awesome and he has an ebook.
Yeah.
Now I'm in.
Yeah.
So
I don't have any
so
data.
I'm going to throw, I think you should say it at the very beginning, because not everyone wants to watch your video. Sometimes it could be the best video in the world, 5 minutes, but you know, I don't have 5 minutes and I wish I had time, but I got to move on. Oh, wait a minute. You have this in an ebook form? Great. Boom, click here. I go download your ebook. I mean, YouTube search, we know it pops up and not everyone wants to watch the video. So I promote things that, you know, it makes sense. Because if you want to listen to me talk for 30 minutes, not 9 minutes, then go listen or go to my podcast. That's the great thing. And that's when I'll recommend the podcast. You know, if you want community, well, that's when I recommend go check out my Facebook group. So I think of what problem am I going to solve? If you want detail, if you want it all delivered to you in a compact format with pictures, great. Those are my ebooks. And so I just look at the value I'm delivering. And I oftentimes do promote at the very beginning where it's relevant. Like if I'm going to talk about something, then, oh, did you know I created an infographic on this? Go check that out. I'll link to the description below.
That's just, yeah, that makes sense. That's like so terrible for session watch time. So I guess it depends on what your goal is for the video.
Yeah. And Tim, you've seen my numbers. I think that like, I don't know if my goal initially when I was starting, now my goal is different, Tim. We've talked about this. I want to actually increase my YouTube channel because it became a significant business. But for a lot of people watching right now, maybe they've only got 1,000 subscribers or 500 subscribers. That may not sound like a lot, but if you're in car sales and you're looking to actually recruit other people to take your course, which teaches them how to better, sell cars. Probably it sounds a little sleazy, but there are, people that make a lot.
People got to buy cars.
Yeah, and you don't need a whole lot of people in that to be able to sell a course for $5,000. I had a course that we helped veterans transition into entrepreneurs. You don't need a whole lot to sell a whole lot of these courses we were putting together. And, so I think it depends on, is it going to work for your business model?
Yeah. So what do you guys say then? Sorry, I'm taking all your questions here, Scott. I'm like getting into this. So how do you guys go about the actual pitch? What does that look like for you? You guys are like, hey, by the way, go buy it?
I actually think there's a way that I saw a video that you did a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember which one it was, but in your ad spot, you didn't have a sponsor that week. And so you said the sponsor this week is me and my Patreon, and let me talk about this. And it worked really well, I thought, because it was pre-packaged in a way that people were already expecting there to be a little sponsor message in this little box of time that you've kind of established through your videos. There's this language of, we get to this point and then I talk about a sponsor, that kind of setting that up. But then you talked about your Patreon as the sponsor. And I think people connect, they're sort of more accepting of hearing that message when they say, oh, okay, he's sort of sponsoring himself. I think that was a great way to bring it up. There's actually another really good example I've seen of pre-packaging that kind of the sponsor spot as well. There's a channel called I Like to Make Stuff, which is by Bob Claggett, and he does
join this next sometime actually. Sorry.
Oh, great. Yeah. He does his sponsored ad spots. He makes woodworking stuff. As you can tell from the title. And there's usually like a point in the video where there's some long, laborious kind of part of the project video, like he needs to sand something or chisel something that's going to take a while. So he kind of puts on a time lapse. And the main part of the video is the thing that's still happening, with a little picture in picture at the bottom of the screen where he says, let me talk about the sponsored, spot for this episode, with a little timer that counts down how long that's going to go for. So you've still got something interesting to watch, or you could watch him. And just recently he started using that spot to promote his Patreon, to promote his merch. He held up a t-shirt and said that the sponsor of this video is this little t-shirt. And because he's got these great little sponsored spots that he packages in this way that we're sort of already accustomed to seeing, him using that time in his videos for self-promotion, it fits really well in with that kind of format, I guess. I'll put a link to that in the chat. Hang on.
Yeah, I was reading all the questions these chatters are asking. So many good ones. Yeah, the way I've usually done sponsor stuff is to try to integrate the brand into it. So if it's a video about like stock video footage, I'm gonna make a video 7 ways you can use stock video footage to make your videos more professional, type of thing,
Yes. So you do the list type, because I had a sponsor today that I just launched like 4 hours ago, and I traded the sponsor some stats and some testimonial stuff for some video time or whatever. I'm trying to figure out what works. So I'm using the sponsor as a tool to be able to get me information. How many people click? What are they converting on? Stuff like that. And it wasn't just like, let's just make a cocktail. I went out of my way. It's a little like an ice cube that glows. You put it in your drink and it's water or liquid activated. So you put it in and it glows, and it won't kill you. It's all BPA free and all that crap. So when you put it in, I'm like, I could do so many cool things with this, but how do I make a cocktail that was going to work? I trended out all the most popular cocktails I've seen on my channel, and I recreated that. I updated that cocktail with this in it to make it glow, because it's glowing and everybody likes that cocktail. So it's like, it's a win. I know without that thing in there, it's still going to pull in views. So and then I use a little emoji to make it glow, and I did a nice thumbnail for it that's glowing. And all of that together, I didn't just create another video. I put in the same research I would put in for creating something that has high view, high searchability, high want to click value to get that out.
Yeah. So how do you guys actually do your pitches? Like, what does that actually look like? Do you just come right out and say it, or do you kind of like have a little thing you use to work up to it, or what does it look like?
Well, there is, and so for a lot of the people that are getting bigger, the FTC is coming down and is pretty straight up about, hey, you've got to let people know it's sponsored. And many of us probably know this, but the general guidance is, you shouldn't hide it all. Just straight up, this is sponsored. This is paid for. If anyone else is worried about that, they can get into it. But I know for me now, with the bigger sponsors we're working with, and these are larger companies that are coming in, we're talking like Audible. If I work with them, they actually give me out a script and they want me to hit those certain things. So when it's really rigid like that, I just straight up, hey guys, like this is brought to you by Audible. I always try to, I think this goes without saying, that we don't talk about anything that we don't really believe in. Yeah. And that I can stand behind and I can trust. And that's one thing that it gets interesting, because sometimes when you start doing a lot of sponsorships and talking about this, you get just people that just think somehow anytime that selling out is a bad thing. And I actually want to do a video on why I sold out and why I think it's a great thing, because I get to use this money to hire people. Oh, I get all this free merchandise, which I get to send. I've given away like $15,000 in free gear just this year. And I'm having fun just giving them this stuff. I test things. I tested a pair of shorts for 2 years. I mean, it's like, how much more do I have to do to earn people's trust? And I'm pretty transparent about that, but you're always going to have the haters. But I straight up tell them, I love this. And I think it would do great. I mean, I'm in clothing, so I think this would be great for your wardrobe. And I'm sure there are many items out there I didn't get a chance to test yet, but I know this one is safe, and I highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah. So Music Rant Productions in chat says, I'm getting braver with my pitches. And I know that feeling when you're first starting out, you're like, oh, like I don't want them to hate me. And the money conversation, I don't want to have that. So I understand that feeling. How did you guys get over that, and what do you do now?
You mean like the fans?
No, you, when you're like, I'm really nervous about pitching this, you know, and talking about money, or asking them to go to Patreon or to buy this thing or to check out the sponsor because you're afraid of like the backlash, or it just feels uncomfortable if you haven't done it before. Like, my
I would say
audience
I'm not
can
over
hate
that
me.
yet. So for people in the chat, I've got 1 million subscribers and I still get nervous about doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I was incredibly lucky with the kind of niche that I'm in, because there have been, at the time when I started, there was already kind of like the grandfather of comic book channels, a Variant, who will, you know, million plus subscribers, and he, from episode 1, had like sponsorships and everything, and like had an exact format and everything, you know, always pitched something in it. And I was kind of against that stuff for a long period of time. And when I finally kind of broke down, I was like, you know what, we gotta do sponsorships. I'm gonna like pitch the Patreon, all that stuff. I just straight up made a video on like my personal channel saying, hey guys, so this is what's gonna happen. I just want you to know why. I want to explain myself. I want you to not be surprised by it. And because people were so used to Variance format, the response that I got was, why haven't you been doing this sooner? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't know why you didn't do it, you know, months ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've never had any pushback. Like, for me to kind of get up the bravery, the easiest thing to do, especially for a smaller channel, I think, is it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. Nobody says you have to pitch somebody and say, you know what, for $7,000, I'll do this. Like, my first sponsor, I had to three sponsors within the first year. And I was like, dude, $15. And they're like, okay. Like Tito's vodka, pretty big brand. I'm like, $15. I don't care. It gave me a chance to kick the tires and do it. And if I screwed something up, they're out $15. It's not a big deal, right? They're not going to be like, oh, and if they say you defamed us, that's the most awful video ever, you can pull it down.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go out and like make your first big deal. Just get some small sponsors, buy something on Amazon, email the vendor and be like, you want to pay me $10? I'll show this on my channel. Do it. If they're excited about it, you know what? You're gonna be much happier going to the next guy for 30.
Yeah, there was a product. My wife and I wanted a new mattress, and mattresses are not cheap. So long story real short, is we came down to 2 different ones. We emailed both the manufacturers of the mattresses, and we made a vlog, kind of how we're going back and forth between them. I sent it to them. I said, hey, do you guys want to be a part of the story that we're telling currently on our family's channel? And one of them wrote back and said, yes, we'll give you any mattress of ours you want for free, just to do a follow-up video about it. And we were like, cha-ching, thank you. So, that was an expensive mattress, but it worked out well.
I bought my online store. I went to a guy. I'm like, why should I buy Colin's glasses? I have a YouTube channel. So I emailed him. I'm like, hey, can I have these glasses? And I have a YouTube channel. He's like, yeah, you're going to show them? Can you show my store? I'm sure, whatever.
Yeah.
3 years later, I bought the guy, and now it's my store. So, weird things happen when you have those deals.
So Shannon, there's a question specifically for you from Grandma's house. How do you make the pitch when your viewers are young children?
Well, you're not pitching to the kids, so that's the split audience
They don't
thing.
have credit cards? They know where to find them, though. I didn't say that out loud.
It depends how old the kids are. If you think they've got sway with their parents, if they think they're going to hassle them into something, but you wouldn't want to go down that path. I think you'd be relatively unpopular. So you're pitching the parents. So you've got to find the value proposition for the parents in them wanting to get that thing for their child, or if you're delivering the value for them. So think about how you pitch the parents when they might be co-watching with their child, which is a different thing. And I saw another question. If you make videos for kids, is it better to ask them to like or subscribe? They're not going to do either. So I think it's better to pitch something different. It's not really worth, I have found it's not really worth spending the time to say, please like and subscribe, because depending how young the kids are, then they're not going to take those actions. So you can use that time and that pitch on something that's going to have a better result.
Yeah. So one more question here, then I want to get back to hearing exactly if you guys have a formula or process you go through for making your pitches. But kind of going back to what we were talking about, Art by Gallon asked, have any of you had to deal with backlash from your promotion of a product or Patreon? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Yep, 3 times.
You got backlash?
Oh yeah, I've pulled. So I've pulled. It wasn't even somebody let one of my buddies, one of my co-hosts, knew an author of a cocktail book. So he let us. He's like, "Can we use some of your recipes for a week of cocktails?" So we did 5 recipes, promoted his book, and all this stuff, and people went out and they bought his book. And then the guy was like, "I hate your videos. Like, you just ruined everything. Like, you didn't even use this right brand that I called for in here." I'm like, it's a recipe. I didn't have the brand. I substituted. Everybody thought it would be cool. Everybody liked. He was livid, like beyond. So I took all of them down. I apologized to the fans. I'm like, sorry, like this is what happened. I was honest with them. And most of the fans returned all of his books. Like, they're like, we don't want anything to do with you. If you're going to be like that, we don't want to buy your products. And they returned the books to the guy. And then they also flamed him on Facebook that I had no control over, but it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't really ever received any backlash. I mean, I've had people give a thumbs down and people say, well, that's way too expensive. It's just a book, or it's just a video course, or especially on Twitter, people are like, hey, can you check out my channel and give me some feedback? And I'm like, yes, you can sign up and pay for a consultation and we'll do that together. What? You charge money for this? You're just a big greedy beep, 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 you know? So I kind of like, dude, like, you pay a doctor to see you, to help you with stuff. You pay, like, if all I did was just give away my time for, like, to check out people's YouTube channel, like, I get that request 10 times a day, maybe at 12. And it's like, I can't do that. Like, my family would starve. So if you want good value from me, like, let's exchange some value together and we can both win, right? So,
the truth is, even if you ask for 50 cents, there's going to be people that are upset about the fact that you're asking for 50 cents. It really doesn't matter. Like, we've pitched products which are $500, incredibly expensive, elaborate robot vacuums, and then you end up getting a comment section full of people who are like, this is far too expensive, this is far too expensive. And you can do the same thing with a product which is $1.99 and people will still say it's far too expensive, and you'll still always get the backlash of, you're trying to sell something. I'm used to your videos being for free. I want you guys just to continue making free videos every single week. You know, I don't much think about, so usually we approach that by actually addressing the person directly in the comments section. We used to start bringing it into the video where we would overcompensate with our messaging on a sponsored video, where it's like, oh, you know, we've gone through and we made sure that this is the right product and we trust it, and these guys really support the channel, and it ends up adding a minute onto a video which doesn't need to be there for the 12 people in the comments section who say, why are you doing this? We just go directly into the comments section, deal with those people directly. Usually when you give someone a straightforward answer and they see that, my goodness, there's an entire team of 8 people working here and they do this full time and they provide, you know, free content every single, and all they're doing in this video is asking if you would like something extra. There's something extra available. So
I used to feel bad. I don't anymore, because I realized that those people weren't actually part of the community in the first place. They were just... I mean, I guess I'll call them leeches or whatever you want to call them, but they're just like, they weren't a part of this, so it doesn't really hurt my feelings anymore. So in the last remaining minutes we have, how do you get, let's talk about, like, this is so important. It's not just when do you make it, your pitch, whether it's the beginning or the end, but how you make your pitch will make all the difference in the world, especially if you're talking about Patreon. I've learned that the hard way and seen other people learn that the hard way as well. And then also have had some great success. I love my Patreon community now. Those people are awesome, and I get to interact and engage with them in ways I can't on YouTube. So how do you guys find it's best to go around about you're making that pitch for a product or for Patreon or a sponsor or whatever?
Guilt. Use guilt. 100%. Like, it's always guilt. Like, you don't have to do this. Like, I've used, hey, you know what? I have privatized healthcare. So here's my bill. This is it. I've shown my balance sheets to my store when it was at negative. I'm like, this is what we got. You want to help? Here, go here and buy this.
Any other ways?
Tim, I know I'm a Patreon of yours just because, you know, I get consulting, you know, it's less expensive. That's the most, it's like the secret to get your consulting at the lowest rate is to go through Patreon. Yeah. But you need to increase. But, you know, when it comes down to it, value, is for me where it's at. But you need to like be very specific and give examples of how they're going to get that value. And yeah, you're only going to be talking to maybe 5% of the audience who's going to value the community, maybe going to value the extra access, the videos that go deeper. But there are those people that want to do that. I mean, when I started the conference, I never would have believed that people would fly in, and hundreds of people would fly in from various parts of the world just to be in and to hang out with you for a couple of days. And, you know, that's something where, yeah, you find out what they value, and then you put it there so that they can grab it if you're willing to either build the product or dedicate your own time to be able to spend with them.
Yeah. My pitches are usually pretty underhand, pretty low ball. No, softball. Is that it? Underhand, easy lobs. I'm not sure how to. The baseball analogies are not my strongest.
I know comic books, not sports.
Yeah, so they're very.
I know cricket.
Yeah, they're just not. They're kind of go just like my baseball analogies. No, they're so like at the end of my video, if I'm going to pitch like my ebook 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel, I do not go all out. I'm hoping that the credibility and the value I delivered in the first few minutes of the video by giving solid content kind of speak for itself, so that when the book thing comes along, they've kind of already like, wow, that book must be awesome or something. So in those scenarios, I do really short, like 10, 15 seconds. I'm like, hey guys, you want to dig deeper into this topic? I have this ebook. It's called 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel, and it'll really help you. And this is the part where you like, a lot of people get this wrong. I always try to focus on the value or the reward that the viewer will get from this product. I don't just tell them this is what the product is or this is what the product does, but I say this is why you should care. This is like the difference it will make for you. This is the problem it will solve for you, because that's what people ultimately care about. So it's called 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel. You can check it out. It will really help you turn your channel. It's like a step-by-step process, help you turn your channel into a highly subscribable channel so that your channel can continue to grow. Each day you get a teaching, something you need to know. You will get action steps, something to do right then on your channel, as well as links to further resources. So if you're interested, check it out, link below. And I'll have like a card pop up too. I don't know how long that was. I'm timing myself. But that was like 15 seconds maybe. And then that's it. And then I'll just keep going. And typically I'll convert about 1% of the viewership into a sale with that kind of a soft underhand pitch. Is that better? I think I got it that time. Soft underhand pitch. Lob type of thing. There's other times.
I think one thing I would say about pitching is don't apologize necessarily.
Yeah,
I think something that we talked about is that being nervous to pitch and that being worried about the backlash. And particularly when you first start pitching things, you kind of feel like, oh, this is going to go badly. So the tone can sometimes sound, I know when I've seen channels do them most effectively, and some channels when I've seen them do them ineffectively, the pitch sounds like, I have to do a sponsor, or I am going to promote something. Yeah. Please don't kill me. You know,
and the viewers just like,
it doesn't come off very well.
No, the viewers like, they're sitting like,
feel the value. Yeah. Sorry.
The other time I'll do is if I'll just have a dedicated video, like I'm launching Video Labs, for example, or this weekend I'm speaking at Adobe headquarters, doing a whole one-day track on turning YouTube into your full-time career. Like those types of events or things, like it's a big thing I want to promote, then I will just make a dedicated video about it. I'll send people off that video all day long because it's never intended to rank or anything. I just want to get people to like sign up or learn about it. So I'll make those types of dedicated videos where the whole entire thing is just a pitch. And yeah, I get a lot of thumbs downs, but it's for the people who want that material though. That's like on their own channel. That's how they get it. So.
And speak to those people, not the people who are going to be hating on the video. So if you believe in it and you think it's delivering value, speak confidently and talk to those 2%ers who really care about what you have to say.
It's I mean, unless you're doing it in a live stream, like Tim's got a lot more work. He's leveled up, right? But if you're doing it on tape, watch it, show it. And I did this with the video I did today. I showed it to my wife. I said, does this seem too salesy? She's like, nah, it looks like every one of your other videos. Done. Like you don't have to launch something you're not proud of. You can edit and retape the pieces that make the most sense. Don't freak out.
Yeah. I like the Joyous Family just said, you're really pitching yourself, not the product. Are you credible? And that's, in my case, I think what I'm trying to do. That's accomplishing with the video. Any other thoughts? I think, Chad, you kept trying to get something in there. I kept interrupting you.
We often run into a problem. Creators often run into a problem of apologizing for trying. Like, people are always going to hate it as soon as you ask them to do something. You're always going to get more dislikes on those videos. There's always going to be a few people in the comments. Like Tim said, you're not speaking to those people. B, don't try to pitch something and apologize for pitching something. This is what you do for a living, and if you're taking it seriously, you need to get rewarded for it. So that revenue needs to come in, and the only way you're going to be able to do it is if you pitch what you pitch with confidence. So one of the things that we do is, before we pitch anything, we make an elevator pitch, or like a really, really shortened pitch. So if you can stand in an elevator and ride on an elevator for 20 seconds and get across all of the things that the selling features and the details of what you want to say in that 20-second period, excellent. Then that's what you're going to say, and say it with conviction and follow through with it. You see a lot of people end up spending a minute trying to say something that could be said in 15 seconds, and all throughout it they're apologizing and they're making excuses as to why they don't need to do it, or this, that, and deliver it, stand behind it, show that confidence, because if the viewer sees that you're confident in what you're selling, they're much more likely to purchase.
I look at, if you walk through any subway or public transit and you see that person who's playing the guitar, they have like a little guitar case open and people put quarters in there. Like, that guy or girl's job is so much harder to pitch you right now. You don't even care. You're not paying any attention. You just want to get on your bus or your subway. Your job is so much easier by just making your call to action. I always think of that person going, that sucks. Like, I can't even imagine how much work that is. And all I have to do is say, hey guys, go to my store and buy this. It makes it so much more easier and down to earth when you think about it.
I think if you're apologizing, you might not really believe in the product, and in which case you shouldn't even be talking about it at all. Like, when I talk about my ebook, I get excited about pitching it because I've sold thousands of them copies, and I know that it's going to impact and change people's lives. It's going to help their channel. It's going to help them grow. It's going to give them, it's going to encourage them. It's going to help them really get the goals that they want. Like, I've seen it thousands of times. And so, like, when I pitch it, like, I'm really excited because I know this is going to offer really good, tremendous value to you. And I can't wait to tell you about it. Like, that's different than it's like, I don't know about this. Like, it might not work, So I think that comes through too. So any other thoughts on pitching? Because that's a really big thing.
Yeah, one additional thing. When it comes to Patreon, I know, Tim, you sat down with Peter Hollins and you guys had that big Patreon podcast. And one of the things that he said that kind of that kind of stood out to me was he was talking about not pitching it in a way that seems like you're putting things behind the paywall necessarily, but rather his advice was just thanking the patrons and saying, hey, thank you guys so much for supporting the videos you make. And if that's something that, someone who's not a patron, if that's something you're interested in, click right here to find out more. There's a link in the description or what have you. I don't know if you've seen that be beneficial for you at all. Or,
Any of you guys find anything with that?
I watch it every now and then, actually the whole video. Like, I watch all the different information on Patreon because there's just so much information in a lot of that content that I think people can get overwhelmed. Like, I try and take one thing and then I execute on that for the month and then I try something different. Like, people, if they take everything we just said in this last hour and they go back to their channel, I'm telling you, it's like doing a 5 call to action. You're going to do nothing, right? Yeah. Take one thing and just do it.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading comments. Sorry, Scott, I missed the last part of your question, to be honest.
It's okay. I have a cat on me now.
Let's wrap up with this. And you guys have so many good questions. I wish we could get to more of these. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to wrap this up. But then if you guys want to hang out, I know some of these guys got to go, but I'll hang out live with you guys. So don't take off after the thing's over. I got to wrap up the video, but I'll hang out live with you and answer a few more of these real quick because these are good ones. But Space City Soaps asked, would it help to mention the price of whatever your product is in your video, or is that tacky?
No, don't do it, because you know what happens when you change the price and your video has been out there for 2 years? It's really confusing.
That's exactly why I don't do it. I never say the price in my videos. unless it's just like a quick little video I'm just posting up just to promote something. I'm going to take it down 2 days later. But yeah. Cool. Well, this has been awesome, guys. Great to hang out with you here. Thank you for being a part of that. You guys can check out all these people. Their comments and their channels are linked up down below. I am going to hang out and answer a few more of your questions here before we, we're going to wrap up the live stream here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And I'll answer just and any of the other people here who want to can too. But I'm just going to wrap. There's a few of these I just want to hit out that weren't really related to our discussion, but are good ones that I think we should tackle real quick. So, but if this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe. This channel is all about helping you guys grow your YouTube audience so that you can spread a message that reaches people and impacts their lives. And thank you for letting me and these other people in this call and this hangout here be a small part of that with you guys. And subscribe to the podcast where every week we're publishing in-depth stuff to help you guys grow your channels, and also subscribe to this channel like I've already said. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Don't go away. I'm just saying this so I can wrap this up, and then I'll edit this later. And now I just gave it away for all the people who are watching the edits. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Okay, that was enough blank space.
Are we still live?
Yes, you're still live.
So everybody can see us over here.
Everyone can still see you, yeah. So I know like Chad's got to go or get up early in the morning. So if you need to take off, you can. But anyone else? But I'm just gonna answer some of these questions real quick, in case. Wait, let me look at the stats. Are people leaving? Yes, people are leaving. I thought I said not to. Oh well, there's still people here.
The dedicated stay.
Yeah, the dedicated are still here.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to head out.
Yeah, go for it, Antonio. Yeah, see ya.
See you, Antonio.
See you guys.
Yes, I do have a flight, so I'm gonna head out too. That was an awesome conversation, guys. So I'm remiss. Last time we were here till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was really late. Yeah.
This sucks. But I literally have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. So yeah, I'm gonna go sleep.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, now we all look goofy and funky. Hold on, let me see if.
What do you mean?
We're just gonna. Well, because there's only 4 of us
yourself.
instead of 6.
Yeah.
Here, let me see.
You do look kind of goofy, Scott. I don't know if you're aware, but you have a cat on
I
you.
feel like there's something on me. I just
I would
can't.
scream it.
Are you sleeping with me?
Hold on. What do I do here? Oh, I know.
Are you looking for the questions? They're in this.
There's a
group.
lot of
No,
people still here. I can see you all in the chat.
Yes, hold on a second. I gotta fix
Merch.
this because.
They stay for the cat, I think is what's happening.
Music rant. Do cards that direct you to another video or your website create a problem with view time? Not if they go to another video.
Right.
Because extending the session time, that's a great thing. If they go to the website, I think that's ending the session time. So that's going to be less good for you.
Okay. We look better. We just look goofy now with this other stuff. Okay. Anyway, just real quick, guys, let's answer some of these questions for you because these are some good ones here. Well, what's for Antonio? He left off Retro Weld. Do you have to say it's sponsored in the video, or do you think it's okay to say it in the description? I don't talk much in my videos. I think you should still say it. Well, let me take.
Right?
What's that?
You can write it like in
Yeah,
some
you can
text.
put text. It has to be in the video somehow. So if you put text on screen, and you're not instead of talking, that should be sufficient. Burnsies of the Rockies. If you talk about a product that is not sponsored, what if you talk about a product that is not sponsored? Should you say it's sponsored so you don't get questioned?
It's probably good practice so that it's not.
Like, what do you mean? Like, okay, so if it was a free product that I got from a company, then
Like,
I'll say,
hey guys, this is my iPhone. I'm talking to my iPhone. Not sponsored. Just saying this is my phone.
Oh, that,
Not to
okay.
that extent, but if you're using a product really, really obviously in the video, if it's a feature of the video, but you just happen to really love that product and you normally do sponsored products for something similar, it depends on the circumstances.
What I do is if I get a new product for my store, I use it all the time. I don't bother to tell anybody because it's not product placement. It's my store. I'm using my product. You want it? Buy it. I don't care, but I don't go out of my way to say, I have this that I now carry at my store that I'm going to be using for the rest of this video. I just do it.
Yeah, I don't I don't go out of my way to make sure everyone knows, unless it's like an unnatural type of pitch, like in the middle. Like I feel like someone's gonna be like, it sounds like he might be sponsored to say this. Then I'll be like, guys, I'm not sponsored to say this. I just really love these guys, or something like that.
If it makes it funny, like sometimes it's a kind of a good it breaks the tension a little bit when people might be thinking that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Art by Gallon, what sub threshold is generally expected for a channel to be able to get sponsors? It's not a sub threshold. It's more of like a view threshold. Although some brands, if they're still kind of old school, they'll still be looking at subscribers. But most brands who are active in the space have kind of figured out that subscribers don't really mean anything, and that it's better to look at views. So they're probably more like looking at that. And there's no like set limit. I mean, on views, let's like for here video creators, for example. I think this channel gets like 700 some thousand views a month. Not a ton, but it's a very specific audience. And there's not a whole, I'll just be honest, there's not too many other places where some brands can access you guys specifically as YouTube creators. So it's either through like me, Daryl, Roberto, video influencers. Like there's a very few of us if they want access to you. And so because of that, I can charge a much higher fee than someone else who's getting 700,000 views, right? So there's a lot of variables that go into it.
And they might go to all the channels and buy it from everybody, right?
Are you laughing at me, Shannon?
No, I'm laughing at the cat.
Oh, okay. I was like, what did I say?
Apologies.
I got it all out of my nose before we got started.
Somebody had a good question earlier that I wanted to bring up, and I think they're gone now, so I can't remember their name. But they were asking, if you're promoting Patreon, do you like tell them all of the rewards, or do you just cycle through them with every video? Like one video talk about this reward, another video talk about this reward, sort of a thing.
I don't. Like,
I don't even talk about rewards.
That's like selling. I don't sell rewards. It's like that's kind of the wrong approach for Patreon, where you're like, hey, I'm just gonna try to sell perks. Instead, you gotta use it to sell community, and the perks are just things that facilitate community.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that, you can go there or you don't have to. I don't care either way. You're gonna get whatever's on there if you want to pay that much.
Yeah, most people, if they're going to support you on Patreon, it's not because they're trying to get a perk. They usually go to Patreon already with a price point in mind of what they want, how much they want to contribute, and they usually don't go up or down based on like maybe they'll go up $1, maybe they'll come down $1 or something based on what the perk levels are. But most of the time, they already have they just want to support you and be a part of what you're doing, and they're not like buying perks unless you're trying to get a consultation with me for cheaper than normally would.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who's a fellow YouTube creator, and he did not see Patreon that way at all. He saw it as more just like you actually are buying the perks. You're not supporting a community or anything. And so when I was trying to pitch it to him that way, he's like, that is not at all how I saw Patreon.
Is it successful for him?
Well, he just launched it. So I was talking to him as he was getting in the but he was a Patreon supporter of many people, and like his from his perspective, he wasn't paying to like help that person make more videos or anything. He was paying for a perk.
Yeah. That's how I launched it the first time, and I kind of capped out at about $300 a month. Now it's up to $500 some per video training or podcast. So
I do $500 and something, and I don't give them anything. Like every now and then I'll put out a video, or if I put out an ebook, I'll just throw it out there for everybody to have. But I don't go and make custom content religiously. I'll do it like once a month, or I'll come up with something, or my wife will build like a vodka infusion or build like a spiced syrup, and I'll throw it out there.
Yeah. We got, let's do a few more questions here. The dog vlog. For affiliate links, how do you disclose on YouTube? Do you have to specifically say that the link below is an affiliate link? Suggestions on how to talk about these? I do. It's just full disclosure. Whatever your relationship is with the brand, just make it clear. So if it's an affiliate, say, hey guys, an affiliate link, I get a small commission if you decide to purchase it. Thanks for supporting me. And then next to the link in there, I put affiliate in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to do that?
You don't have to.
I don't know if you
but
have. I think
do.
it's just you should,
Yeah.
right? Be as clear.
I
as
don't, because I assume anytime I say an Amazon.to or whatever it is, I know what it is. It's an
You
affiliate
do.
like 100% of the time.
You do, but that doesn't mean other people do.
They should.
Yeah,
Come
you
on,
and
by
I,
now.
like people who are Amazon affiliates, they know that. People who aren't have no idea.
Probably just,
So-
it's in Reddit all the time. You see them.
Jason Ganny, how much money do you make before you get paid? Just asking. And Tim, how does it work? I think you're talking about Patreon.
Like YouTube or Patreon? Patreon's like whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
YouTube is $100 as a threshold before you get paid. Patreon is like whatever the amount is at the end of the month that you accumulated. That's what you get paid, and they just deposit it into your bank account. New nail tech success. How many subscribers before you sell something?
Doesn't matter.
one.
Well, you know what? If it's like merchandise for your, if it's merchandise like my t-shirt, I've seen this, like channels that have like 7 subscribers and they have their own t-shirts and everything. I'm like, you're way ahead of the game, dude. Like you need, you know, if you could sell them something of value, I think you could do it when you have 1 subscriber. I think it was on the VidPow. I think I was listening to where they said if you sell airplanes and you have, I think Tim was on that one. If you sell airplanes and you have 1 subscriber, then you have enough or something like that. Like,
Yeah, so I made a mistake I used to live full time on my blog website before YouTube was a thing. And a mistake I made there was I made everything for free. Grew this audience, and then when I was ready to switch to get my full-time income and I started having stuff to sell, everyone was conditioned to expect things for free from me. And so when I switched, people were like, "Whoa, like, Tim, what are you doing here? Like, you're the free guy." So like, even though I was offering a similar product at a similar price that they would be used to paying anywhere else, from me, they weren't expecting that. That was different for me. And so to them, it was really hard for me to make that transition to get them used to pulling out their wallets with me. And so now when I came to video creators, the approach I took was I'm going to have a product to sell from the very beginning so that my audience knows that I have something to sell. Not that they have to, but if they wanted to, they could buy something from me. And that way there's not like a shock or reconditioning or anything later. I know a lot of people would tell you to do the exact opposite, like just build your audience, just focus on that, just, you know, build that brand, don't try to like extract value from them. I'm like, a good relationship is 2-way, like you give and you take. You know, so if one person's just giving and the other person just consuming, that's like a codependent relationship and it's really unhealthy. So, but in a relationship where one person, like the creator, is providing, giving value, and the audience is thank you, we're going to give value back to you, that's a good, healthy relationship and what makes it sustainable for both the audience and the creator.
Which is why I tell people turn on monetization, even if you don't, you know, right away, even if you don't even know how you get paid or if it's not linked to your AdSense account, just so the ads show up and they're there.
Yep. And that was a convert radio. The next question, are there any advantage to being non-monetized to focus on outside sponsorships? Haven't monetized my channels yet. I would say just do it. No one knows. No one's going to pay attention to like, oh, I didn't see an ad on that channel.
No, no one's going to care.
Nobody.
And most people don't even know that the channel is controlling whether they see an ad or not, to be honest. Like a lot of people who are not YouTube savvy, because most of us are, if you've got a YouTube channel, you're generally YouTube savvy, but the majority of the audience think it's YouTube controlling that. They don't understand that channels can turn that on or off. So
yeah,
they won't even necessarily give you credit for having turned that off.
If they just recently saw an ad on someone else's video, they're not likely to see an ad on your video anyway. It's like the minimum is every or the maximum is every 7 minutes. So if they've spent 7 minutes since they've seen an ad, like maybe they saw someone else's video, watched for 3 minutes, and then skipped it, and then came to your video, they're not going to see an ad anyway. So it's just kind of.
And you also can't access certain YouTube perks if you're not monetized as well. So you can't. What's the Heroes program? To help me out here, Derek, there's some things there you can get access to support from YouTube if you are a monetized channel. So
like partner program and being able to have them send you an email like, hey, would you like to sit down and get some free consulting with me?
The partner
I think you can ask them a support question if you're a monetized channel.
Yeah,
because there's something in that for them.
Right. You can
partner program. Like, no thanks, I already got a partner. Married for 10 years. I'm good. What is this, like a dating service?
It's a different type of partner.
Oh, it's the one where they can do anything they want for any reason they want at any time they want without notifying you, and you can totally get screwed and not do a single thing legally about it. That's a
your
good
wife.
partnership.
That's kind. Yeah.
Oh, your wife?
So art by gallon. My consultation rates are on my website. Just go to videocreators.com and click on the consulting at the top. And you guys want to do one more? I'm really tired here. I'm fading
Go
fast
ahead.
after the election. You guys pick one.
Oh, I see how it's gonna be.
I've been talking a lot. I just hit my word quota for the day right there. I'm done.
Word quota hit.
So the Good News Channel, how do you determine your first merchandise product?
I like that. Like, so first off, if you haven't figured it out by now, stop trying to sell T-shirts when you don't have any viewers. I would say start on day one and offer something of value, like something that I use this a lot for cooking channels. If you're doing cooking and you use these special knives because you really love the knives and you're like always using them, guess what you should probably be thinking about selling is the knives, because you use them all the time.
Although I would say early on, it's much easier to sell a digital product than it is to sell a physical product.
Right.
Because physical products are difficult because you've got to get stock and you've got to do postage and you've got to worry about packaging and if there's something that you can provide a value that can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it can be an ebook or some sort of digital product, that's a lot easier to start out with.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of is, but after doing an ebook, like I had to get InDesign and the tools. I have to learn how to do the ebook design. I have to be able to print the PDF. I got to set up a website that does the online digital commerce. There's a lot of the same stuff. If you're really passionate about selling a knife and you get some boxes and you buy 20 of them at wholesale price, and that's all you have to, if that's it, like don't sell kitchens, but like just the one thing you really love, it's just so much easier for sale, right? Because you're like, just buy
But you might not sell, and then you've got 20 of these knives sitting in your cupboard. Because that's the other thing. The first product that you do, you're testing the audience to see whether or not they're even going to spend money.
Yeah, if it's like a Japanese knife and each one's $500, stay away.
Watch, I'm going to sell something right here. So I have in Seattle at Vlogger Day this weekend. I'm doing a whole 1 day track on how to turn YouTube into a career, and one of the sessions I'm doing is how to create a product your audience loves. So, and this can be the whole thing from beginning to end, the ideation process, testing the idea, selling it, all that kind of stuff. All it's going to be, that's just one 45-minute session, and there's like 9 sessions. So, I would say come to that.
I see what you're saying.
This Saturday, Seattle, Adobe headquarters. Come on out.
I just want to add as well, I think one of the number one things people say to pitch digital product wise, it would be an ebook. And I'm not a writer, so this is why we don't have an ebook. But if you're also like me and you're not a writer, but I still want to produce a book. And you don't have to, you can find something else, obviously. But there are people out there who will like ghostwrite for you. I'm lucky that I have a friend of mine who is an author, and I was like, hey, can you help me write this? I'm going to come with a whole bunch of research. Can you just put it into a format that's readable? So I think, you don't have to do everything yourself is something that I'm still learning a lot.
No, but you know what? But that's a good point. So for instance, I would say if you're going to sell something, sell to your strength. Like for me, I have no problem flipping stuff, right? I can find a merchant, find their wholesale, get their price list, do all that stuff, and have that thing on sale the next day, right? But that's not for everybody. If you're a good writer, you have a friend that's a good writer. Like I have a fan who does all my editing because she's an English teacher. So I write stuff, she corrects it, I write it all up again, and then I sell it. That's great. But if you're in comics, if you were in the comic area and you drew comics, like, dude, sell comic books, like build a storyboard. It doesn't have to be complicated. And you're going to have, you're going to be able to get value because that's your talent. If your natural talent is art, find a way to utilize art. Don't go, well, I got to go write a blog because I might be. You're not a writer. You're an artist. If you're a musician, write your music and sell digital downloads on whatever site SoundCloud or whatever. I wouldn't go out of your comfort zone just because we say, I do it this way, sell knives. If that's not what you're into, you do the thing that you can do the best because you're going to be the most successful at it and have passion in it.
Amen, brother. All right,
You can
so
use
I'll do a
that
good
Kim,
night
at your
fist bump here.
conference.
No, this is bro fist. Sorry, what am I doing? Bro fist. Yeah. Bro fist. All right, guys. I'm tired. It's been a great night. Good. Thanks for hanging out with you guys. No, what? Thank you for hanging out with us. What did I say? Good. Thank you for hanging out with you guys.
You are definitely tired.
Yeah, the election last night was a long night. So I'm going to take off. But good hanging out with you guys. And next week is our very last episode of this season of Entrepreneurs. Who's in the hot seat?
Oh, Tim.
Hold on, I'll look. Chad is focusing on your own brand versus focusing on brand deals with others. Oh, that's a good one. As they all are. All right, guys. It's great seeing you guys. Thanks for hanging out. And, Facebook people. I forgot about you. I'm sorry. Are you there? No, not really. That's what I thought. Okay.
Like one person.
We had 115 this time.
Zuckerberg.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. 113 unique. So, anyway. All right, guys. We will catch up with you guys next week. See you then. Bye.